I have no idea, dude. I don't know what that is. Everything in that area is way too tough for me, so I've got to go to do some other quests that might take me to a place where they're a little more forgiving. Yeah, that's way too tough. And if you're asking if Les is there, he's typing a message, I think. It's a training company. I have no idea what that institute is, dude. Can't say that I've heard of it. Alright, where's this leader? How the heck? Oh.
Oh, I'm just a servant here.
I haven't seen you before.
Whoa.
Have I? Have we met? I'm sorry.
They all just spawned in on me out of nowhere.
Make it quick. I've been
Calm
tending to
down.
the warriors at your Basker for as long as I can remember.
But I still hear the call of the blood.
A stranger comes to our hall. Would you now? Here, let me have a look at you. Yes, perhaps. A certain strength of spirit.
Master, you're not truly considering accepting him.
I am nobody's master, Vilkas. And last I checked, we had some empty beds in your Vasker for those with a fire burning in their hearts.
Apologies.
Very fond of
But
saying.
perhaps this isn't
No,
the
I
time.
like hammers and
I've
axes.
never even heard of this outsider.
I can get in and out
Sometimes
of
the famous come to us.
Let's
Sometimes
test
men
that
and women come to us to seek their fame. It makes no difference. What matters is their heart.
And their arm.
Of course. How are you in battle, boy? That may be so. This is Vilkas. He will test your arm. Vilkas, take him out to the yard and see what he can do.
Don't know if he's ever worked there. Is Sabic in Australia? I have no idea. Les would know this stuff. Les, you can
Not
speak
here.
to him instead of
Out
typing,
in the
mate.
yard. Come on.
You there?
Yeah, mate, I am.
Yeah,
I
you can
typed.
just you can speak to him instead of typing.
Well, I can't hear them. I don't know how they can hear me. Okay.
No, they can hear you because I'm on Skype with you.
Okie doke.
Yeah, so you can just talk back to him. Go, fucking banter your heart out, mate.
Results. Hang on. Okay, that's it in a nutshell.
The old man said to have a look at you. So, let's do this. Just have a few swings at me so I can see your form. Don't
You
worry,
sure?
I can take it. Not bad. Next time won't be so easy. You might just make it. But for now, you're still a whelp to us, Big Blood. So you do what we tell you. Here's my sword. Go take it up to Yorland to have it sharpened. And be careful.
Oops.
It's probably worth more than you are.
Okay, let's go sharpen this guy's sword.
I'm not quite sure, Gray, if Sabic's in Australia at all. I'd have to Google it, mate, and look at their locations around the world.
Oh, got more to say.
Yeah,
Definitely
so
long before
I'm
you.
59 years of age. I retired when I was 54. But I went to night school for English. I went to night school for everything, actually. And I'm a professional sign writer, but I had my own sign writing business for nearly 40 years and started up another 5 and so on and so forth. I used to earn like $1,000 in 3 hours work a day, every day, back in the 1970s. So you can imagine what I was earning. Anyway, I always set my wages 10 years ahead whenever I went for a job as well. I used to write a lot of motivational quotes for a lot of writers because I was into a lot of graphics and all that sort of stuff. I used to put them on pictures, and there used to be a place called Successories, and a lot of places that sell motivational stuff used to have my plaques and my pictures in there because I did a lot of my own writing as well. That night school thing I went for 32 weeks. What happened was a girl approached me, and there's one thing I didn't do. I don't watch TV. The reason I don't watch it is because I don't like commercials. I got sick and tired of being sick and tired of saying, not another commercial. And then I said to myself, hang on a second, don't blame the TV, blame you. You're the idiot watching it. So I decided then and there never to read a newspaper, so I wouldn't pick up negative news every day, wouldn't watch TV and all that was sales bombardment to me. So I decided for a year I'd start reading books on everything, on people mainly what makes people tick. Like I wanted to know the ins and outs, body language. I wanted to know everything there was to do about people. And one day, about a year later, I heard this tape, and it was called "The Strangest Secret in the World," and I'll never forget it because he said something on that tape. It's been my life goal just about 30 odd years ago. He said to set a goal for 30 days, no matter what the goal is. Once you begin it, it's virtually half done. You just do the best you can and leave the rest up to Providence. So what I did was I set this goal to make $1,000 a day for 30 days, and lo and behold, like I said, I wasn't watching TV or reading newspapers. And I was in a toilet one day, and there was a paper on the floor about maybe the 5th page, and there was a little ad there, and it was by Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People, How to Stop Worrying and Start Living, and How to Be a Public Speaker. So I thought, well, yeah, well, for some reason this thing shone at me like a light. And I picked it up, I rang the number, and this girl came out to my house, and man, she asked me what I wanted. I said, I want to be just like you. I want to have an attitude like yours. I want to have an assertiveness like yours. Everything you've got, I want. And she told me the price of the course, and I said, okay, no problems. Went ahead and did that. By the time I finished the course and went back as the instructor and so forth, there was about 5 instructors, to be honest, and you got 50 students, and most of them are bank managers or hierarchies from, doctors, the whole shoot and match. They just, and dentists, you name it. Well, while I was there was a guy who had a cement, it was Australia's biggest cement mixing company, and I was a sign writer, and he said to me, oh, you're a sign writer, I've got 100 trucks, how much a truck? I said, about $300 and something per truck. He said, oh, no problems. I said, I'll do 3 a day. So all of a sudden, at 30 days, I've earned $1,000 a day. But that was a goal I set 30 days prior to that. When the course finished, that girl who came to me and asked me what I wanted, she said, Les, they called me Mr. Enthusiasm because I always had a smile on my face, and I was always sort of happy, had a good attitude. She said, Les, you've got a technique you've used, I've noticed, and I've got an opportunity to take Dale Carnegie all around the world with me, to starting in Japan and then heading off overseas, UK and so on. Anyway, I said, yeah, it's a third person technique, but because I used to go into all the high schools and secondary schools and teach the teachers, as I said, how to get a better performance out of their kids. But to get to do that, I had to speak to the headmaster, and I had to ask him, to get in to see a headmaster, it's not always easy, but I needed to be on my time slot, not his. So I'd ring up and I'd say to the secretary, and it went like this: good afternoon, my name's Les. I want to, and she'd tell me her name, and I'd say, look, Jane, I've got 2 questions. First one is, who would be the best person to speak to about human resources, it was in those days, say, about this particular subject? And she would always say the headmaster. Second question, Jane, is when do you think would be the best time I might be able to get to see him? And every time, 100 times out of 100, just hang on a second, I'll pick up the phone, I'll give him a ring now and see what's doing. And all of a sudden, the headmaster would be on the phone, and he'd ask me, what is it? And I said, well, look, I can't build a home over the phone. I definitely can't show you what I need to show you, until I see you in person. So if you got out your diary and I got out my diary, when would be the best time to see you? Asking the question, see? Anyway, he said, well, look, I'm free at any time. Just come and see me. So what about today or what about tomorrow? It was always like that. So that girl who eventually, by asking those two questions, and the third person is like, you don't know me, but you know, a good friend of mine, in which sometimes you relate to that way. So anyway, that girl went right around the world and made a fortune and wrote me a nice letter. I've still got the letter here, and I've still got my diploma on the wall and all that sort of stuff. It's the only thing I've ever passed in my life was helping people, and that's what I've been good at. I'm also good as a salesman because I know how to get people to say yes by asking certain questions, because that was what I studied. I know a lie when I hear one, when I see one. If people say to me, like, you might ring up a mate and say, look, I've got a party going on this weekend or next weekend. I'm going to invite you. You're going to come. They say I might be there. I'll try and make it. Well, might try. Two lies. Straight away I know it. Yeah. So I know what makes people tick.
I suppose you have
Where the
Yeah.
fuck?
What
Where
is
the
it
hell
now?
do I get this guy's sword? But yeah, that's.
Cousins out fighting dragons.
Yeah, you've been around, man. You've done a lot.
Well, I talk from experience and experiences, and I've told you this many times, Mark. Experience